This is the CHRILLCAST. I'm Chris.
This is Kuro with the Midnight Channel.
And I'm David.
And it is, in fact, midnight, by the way. I meant to say that before David jumped in. All right, Spencer.
And I may or may not be responsible for this Wikipedia page you may or may not be seeing.
Really?
Just a few paragraphs.
Okay. We got a Wikipedia contributor here. There you go. So
it's on someone's perfect record and not normally in a good way.
All right. So really quickly, Kuro, you want to say anything, or should I just say subscribe to the Midnight Channel?
Subscribe to the Midnight Channel.
There you go. David?
I subscribe to my channel, folks.
DavidCast
take him to
JRPGs.
2K. Take him to 2K. He's so close.
Yeah, get him there. That's like, what, 70 subscribers or less? That could happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, my name's Spencer. Guys, give us a Halo Infinite update. That January update's been too long. Will's sitting in the corner crying. He needs more Halo Infinite news. Come on.
Oh yeah. We actually need Halo 3 Anniversary before we need Halo Infinite. No, I'm just kidding. But in Infinite, yes, we want that. That's coming this year sometime. You know, we're not gonna play the 2022 game like SMT 5, but you know, I'm pretty sure 21's gonna happen. All right, so today is Throwback Thursday, and I haven't announced like any of the other days this week. Sorry, Will, I really screwed this up. So when you watch this video, if you watch this video, I don't know if you will. Sorry. Here we go. So today's throwback topic is that Atlus is turning 35 years old. I'm sure that the other three channels on here, when the actual anniversary hits, we'll probably cover this at some point. But Atlus was founded on April 7th, 1986. It spent its early years as a video game developer for other companies. I'm sure Spencer has some interesting information on that for later. It became a video game publisher of its own in 1989 and existed until it merged into the Index Corporation in October 2010. After the dissolution, wow, I can't talk today. The name Atlus continued as a brand used by Index Corporation for video game publishing until 2013, when it was bought by Sega and revived as a company initially under the Sega Dream Corporation. Atlus has three development divisions: Creative Department First Production Team, Team Maniacs; Creative Department Second Production, P Studio; and Creative Department Third Production, Studio Zero. Wow, that is a mouthful. A North American branch of the company, Atlus USA, also known as Atlus West, was founded in 1991 in order to focus on publishing and localizing games for North America, while a European branch was finally founded in 2017. Took you long enough, Atlus. Jack Frost, who appears as the demon character in the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, is the company mascot. It's pretty obvious. And the first game that was actually produced by Atlus was Digital Devil Story Megami Tensei on the FM7, which is a very interesting console, but also the NES, respectively, in 1987, with their most recent releases being the Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remaster and the Persona 5 Strikers on PS4 and Switch, with only Strikers getting a localization so far. There you go. There's my word vomit for you guys, and I did not switch off of Spencer's page, so go find him and subscribe to him. I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia page that he may have had a hand in, and why don't we jump into the things Spencer was talking about before we started.
So I just got to get this out of the way. So obviously, it's one of the earliest games and one of the most important origins of Megami Tensei. So I will always remember and think this is really cool. It's actually kind of relevant too. Did you guys know that the original Megami Tensei on the NES is actually on Nintendo Switch in Japan?
Yep, I did know that.
So do you know how the only way to play it, though?
Having a Japan Switch?
No, it is not. By the way, it is not SMT, the SNES version. This is specifically the NES version of Megaton. So this is part of, well, I guess here, the kind of other history lesson. Atlus did not publish Megaton on the NES. It was actually published by Namco in Japan. And at the time, it was part of their brand called Namcot. So Namcot is the kind of collection that released last year on Switch. It was called the Namcot Collection. We got some of them over here, but we didn't get all of them due to licensing reasons. But they had a couple of extra NES games that Namco published as DLC. So this is a Japanese exclusive Switch game, and is only way to play on Switch is if you import this game and then do DLC for this imported game. So it's a lot of hoops to jump through. But I just thought it was so crazy that in 2020, Bandai Namco licensed Megaten from Atlus again to publish a actual port of this very, very, very old game based off of, remember, in like Megami Tensei like is based off Digital Devil Story, a like story and like anime and like everything for it. So it's got so many like legal layers and hoops to jump through. It was just so crazy. But like the fact that it's also only stuck in Japan hurts so much because it's like, oh, like imagine how much of a cool win that would have been to be like, hey, here's the very first Megaten game and it's never been translated before. Here you go play it, everybody.
And this is the other console that it was released on, FYI. This thing.
Yeah, the FM7, I can tell you right now, I have never seen one in person before. My only experience with Megami Tensei is the original NES version from Namcot.
Fair enough. I just wanted to point out this is the other console they released it on because I was like very confused because the only FM console I've heard on is the FM Towns Marty. Never heard of this one.
Yeah, that was in that era where, like, the early 80s, especially in Japan and Europe, it was very, very big into, like, kind of off-brand, like, multiple types of, like, computer gaming. Like, the most we ever got in America is pretty much, like, the Commodore 64. The ZX Spectrum was not as big over here, but definitely was really, really big over in Europe. So Japan had a lot of those. Like, they had the MSX and different things like that, and the FM7 was a pretty popular one at the time, but it was such early 80s that even by the time Megami Tensei had released on the FM7, it was very, very dated. So even the NES version was actually a little bit of a step up by comparison.
Yes, because I've heard of this one on the right here, the FM Towns Marty. I've never heard of the FM7 except for the fact that MT was on it. No,
I know it's like there were two Megatens, but like everything else has been SMT that it's like so hard to like kind of get out of your mouth.
Speaking of that, for Atlus 35, wouldn't it be great if they did remakes of the original Megaten games?
The
Do they still have
trouble,
licensing for that?
well, like they could. It's like no one's like if Namco could license, because remember they had to license it through Atlus as well again to get, because like Atlus had their name on it, the Switch port as well, so they'd have to license it through Digital Devil Stories license holder and Atlus for Megami Tensei. So like that's why the brands kind of split up. Atlus holds half of it with the Megami Tensei side, and Digital Devil Stories also held through the original author's publisher side. Legal fun stuff for video games. The other one though that is actually kind of cool, but like going into your anniversary thing that makes it tricky and what people might not really remember. I would love for this to be a year where they just did tons of crazy old ports and like hired some other companies like M2 to like publish a collection. The problem is they have a more important, and this is really messed up, but it's sad that it's true. The anniversary of Persona turning 25 is a bigger deal than Atlus turning 35.
Absolutely.
That's true.
So, like, while I would love to get, like, all of these classic games brought to, like, modern systems, right now we're already a third into the year and we haven't had any announcements for the 25th anniversary for Persona, and I'm like, I just can't see it happening over the other.
That's fair.
Can you imagine if like one of these companies like went into their back catalog and said, what are the worst games we've ever released? And they just like put it all on one disc and said, this is the garbage collection. Like, let's just find our worst back catalog.
I mean, some companies, not like in
man.
terms of garbage, but like there are like, I feel like when you see those old Activision or Intellivision collections, like they knew like 30 of those 50 games no one wanted to play.
That's true. I would just love if some company reached deep back into their history, like these games are our worst games. Let's put them all on one disc, like a B-rated sci-fi. Like let's just put them all in one collection. We'll call it the garbage collection, or the B side. I don't know, whatever.
Big garbage collection. I love it.
And like
I'll buy that.
anything you never wanted is on this disc. It would get so many like Twitch streams and whatnot because people would just be like, "This is horrible," blah, 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 and people would react to it. Like a company can make money off of just YouTubers wanting to make a video on something stupid.
100%. They should totally do that. That's $1 million idea right there.
We need the Spud and Tater collection. Everyone, Spud's Adventures and the Tater games all in one, and it'll sell at least 20 copies.
Yeah, the only game I want really badly right now on the Switch is the Jack Bros game. I really want that on the Switch, even though I'll never play it.
I I could see it. Like, and that's the thing is like Jack Bros is a solid, like one of the earliest examples of a twin stick shooter. So it's like not even like it's bad. But I guess another like little fun fact of like collections that kind of if so like this is a collection that released as part of an anniversary but wasn't actually tied to Atlus. Like you guys remember the Game Gear Mini last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, they had some SMT games on there, didn't they?
Yeah, the red one is literally pretty much a Last Bible machine. It has like 3 Last Bible games on there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I
owned
thought
that
about
one,
picking that up.
actually. I bought that one.
Did you?
There's Last Bible, the original one, which is Revelations of Demon Slayers here, and there's also Last Bible Special, which is the Game Gear version of the game. There's 2 Last Bible games on this one.
Nice.
It's pretty cool, but I mean it's all Japanese and it's very small screen, so I can't play it, but it's still a cool item.
You know what they could have done? They could have done like a TMI, like a model connected into the TV or something like that. They could have done that.
Imagine being this guy thinking you're gonna get $5,000 for Jack Bros.
You'd be surprised, man. Some people are
Someday,
some
dude.
people
someday.
are some people are horny for that game in ways they should not be.
Like this guy's selling the complete thing plus Jack Bros for $5,000 with the Virtual Boy. Who's gonna pay $5,000 for just Jack Bros?
Other weird little fun Atlus collections that weren't actually released by Atlus. Atlus developed Strikers 1945, and that was actually released by the original developer. Now I always mess this up. Sikyo, and Sikyo had a collection release on PS4 and Switch. I don't know if they're on PC, but it's called Sikyo's Collection Volume 1 and 2. And this one that Atlus made, actually, Strikers 1945, is in that one. It's very weird. Like Atlus made a specific Sega Saturn version of Strikers, which was kind of just like one of those weird ones of like games that like the more you look at specific Atlus games, like the less kind of sense it makes. Like the one I'll never forget is like people think like, hey, name a weird Atlus game. They'll be like, oh, dude, snowboard kids, and I'll be like, nah, dog, my Disney Kitchen on PlayStation 1. That's where it's at.
I gotta look this up now.
It's a real game, I promise.
Oh, I've played this. That's an Atlus
Yeah,
game?
it came out in America.
Wow, isn't this on PC too?
I don't know about that technology.
Nice. Oh man.
Yeah, it's on. Yeah, I played it on PC.
Real banger, brother.
I played it on PC back in the day. I was
Now,
probably the age when this came out. I probably played this.
Weird question of like history, PlayStation games, and things we talked about earlier. Did you guys know that Demi Kids actually had a PlayStation port?
No, I didn't.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's a Devil Children came out in America. We only got it on GBA, but it was also on mobile phones, PlayStation, and Game Boy Color.
In Japan.
Yes, Japan only.
I knew about Game Boy Color, but I didn't know about PS1.
Yeah,
Nice.
the PS1 version did not get too much love. It was pretty much just like a little bit of an enhanced port. It was like kind of one of those early 2000 ports that like didn't really get much like love or attention. Oh my gosh, you can't talk about Kuro, was it you who brought up Ronde?
No, somebody did.
Okay. I don't know why whenever I hear anyone talk about like Ronde, the one that comes up in my head that I think people should talk about more than the other, is why does nobody ever talk about Makken? I feel like Makken is one of those weird games that like
That's
nobody
better
ever
than-
talks about.
And it's a better game than Ronde, so
I just love it because like the history behind Makken is so weird. Of like Makken on the Dreamcast was a published by Sega game, localized by Sega too, and what's so funny was it was the engine they would eventually use for Nocturne. which is like it
Oh,
was the
yeah,
very
you
very
talked about
first
this
time they
before.
ever used that. Yeah, and so it's one of those things of like you can see all of the like little baby steps they took with that game to kind of get there, but it was just like in so many different weird ways. Oh my god, I'm looking over my list here. Shoutouts to Disney's Winnie the Pooh preschool for the PlayStation 1. That's real. That's the real Atlus good stuff. Oh my gosh, but yeah, like Dimmy Kids I think might have like the most spin-offs out of any like non-mainline game. There are so many versions, like including all the mobile ports. For you, like Kuro and David, just so like I'm not the only one talking here, and like Sam for you, Chris, do you guys have any like weird Atlus games that like even if they weren't published, even if they weren't like developed by Atlus, I'm always like Demon Souls is a big one that always like comes up for it, but like what are like the weird games that like you always think of, or no, I might not always think of that Atlus made? Because like one for me that is actually a really popular game, but no one talks about is that Atlus developed Double Dragon Advanced on GBA. It was a really really good port of Double Dragon.
I did know that. I'm surprised I forgot about that until just now. Okay, hold on. I had a list on here at one point in time I was going to look at because I had some games that I remember reading when I was doing the research for this, and I was like, "What? Atlus made that?"
Honestly, the biggest thing that I'm surprised about is all the Persona clones they have published. Like we were talking about Caligula Effect earlier, and there was another one that we talked about too that they also published. That is also a Persona clone. I forgot which one was it.
There's just so many games that they actually put together. It's insane when you think
Yeah,
about
it's
how many games they've
insane,
built.
right?
Wait, was this the one that I was like, what? Yeah, they did a racing game, Peak Performance. Yeah, I was like, what in the world is that? There's that one. Let's see, there's another one that I remember seeing, thinking, what? I gotta find it again. Oh yeah, I forgot they did the Girl Answer on PS1.
Also, just because we were talking about Double Dragon, they also did the GBA port. Well, I guess not port. They developed River City Ransom EX, which is kind of a like pseudo sequel to the NES River City Ransom.
Yeah, I remember reading that too. Because I like I said, I'm going through the list here, and I'm trying to remember which ones I. Oh yeah, the Trauma Center games. I never associated that with Atlus, despite the fact that they did all of them.
It literally made them all.
Yeah. That's one of the.
Trauma Center. Trauma Center is one of those ones of I'm always amazed how much nostalgia people have for Trauma Center.
It's like Operation, but on the Wii.
Good games. Wii and DS.
Oh yeah, Radiant has story of them too, isn't it?
Do you guys like how pretty much after Persona 3 comes out, it's pretty much nothing but Vanillaware, Etrian Odyssey, and SMT. That's like their entire... Like, they go from making all of these crazy games to like, okay, you guys make less than 5 franchises now.
So I'm curious what's going to happen with Etrian Odyssey going forward, now that they're not on the 3DS anymore. I wonder if RE Fantasy takes the place of that, you know what I mean? But
it's tough to say because, like, that team hasn't done anything since Q2, and even before Q, they were like, hey, we know we have to start working on the Switch, but the only reason they put it on 3DS is because they thought people would buy it. Whoops, that was a bad idea, but hey,
I bought
hindsight, 2020. I don't know how, if you're not that team, how you don't just do a Switch game. Because like their style just seems like it would be perfect for a Nintendo game. It's just, maybe they're giving them a crazy budget, but it's just so weird because like the Etrian team used to pump out multiple games yearly, and they haven't put anything out in almost 3 years.
yeah,
Was anyone else here a big Etrian Odyssey fan by chance?
I actually discovered the Etrian games through Persona Q.
The big one that I always get like the way I knew about Etrian Odyssey before I was a big Atlus fan. Do you guys know who does all of the soundtracks to those games?
No.
I don't.
Kuro? The answer is Yuzo Koshiro of Streets of Rage fame. He does every one of those games' soundtracks.
Really?
Yeah. and he is awesome. Also, you might know Yuzo Koshiro as that one guy who always does a new arrangement or remix whenever a Smash Brothers character is added. If you ever see who does the arrangements, there's always at least like one Yuzo Koshiro.
Well, good for him. I don't know. That's awesome. Oh, David came back and he's gone.
I missed him already.
I think he accidentally hit that instead of mute the mic.
So yeah, like Atlus turning 35 is such a weird one of like it's hard to be nostalgic from a Western perspective because there aren't a lot of games that are like really popular that aren't their newer, more supported stuff, you know?
Right. So here's where I'm at with Atlus 35. You're right. Persona 25 will definitely eclipse anything that Atlus 35 would be because people know Atlus for Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. They don't know Shin Megami Tensei and Persona because of Atlus. It's not like Nintendo where people know Nintendo and all the Nintendo franchises. People know the franchises of Atlus. They don't necessarily know Atlus.
Yeah.
So what's kind of funny though is like I was thinking about this though. There's one North American franchise they do kind of have nostalgia for, which is sort of weird. Can you guys think of it?
Isn't it Snowboard Kids?
It's Snowboard Kids, because just thinking about how Fangamer has Snowboard Kids merch.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, a lot of people like Snowboard Kids. They wanted to come back, and actually, I think that's the one Atlus game that Will's like, oh yeah, that's a good game.
The one, like, sorry guys, I can't do it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see like a Switch port of Snowboard Kids because there is that much love for the game. But other than that, like the Persona 25 is going to be much bigger, and I really hope that Persona 25 doesn't just turn into we put P3P on the Switch.
Just give me ports, dude. I'll take the garbage dump.
I want the ports, but I don't.
Laziest ports ever.
I want the ports, but I don't. Like, although imagine Atlus puts vanilla Persona 3 on the Switch. Like, not P3P, not P3FS, vanilla Persona 3.
Just call it classic.
That's what I want. I want that so bad. I want it so people will be mad about it.
And they'll put vanilla Persona 5 and just piss off King Goomba.
Just keep calling it classic, then you can double dip later.
There you go.
It's the ultimate plan.
100%.
It would work.
It probably would.
People
All right.
will buy it.
What is your prediction? Will Atlus do anything for 35 or 25 at all?
I don't think 35. I think they will definitely do something for Persona 25th. I don't expect anything for the 35th anniversary of Atlus.
Yeah, makes sense.
I say you get a Christmas card mention with like a little 35 on the Christmas cake, and that's about it. That's about all you get for Atlus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're more likely
Makes
to come
sense.
for Persona. All right. Well, as always, I'm Chris.
I'm Kuro.
I'm David.
And I'm wondering if anyone on the set of Cobra Kai has a copy of Karate Kid for the NES. You got to think one of them has to, right?
Well, you know what? Real quick, I'll just put some footage up just for you, Spencer.
Thank you.
All right, Karate Kid NES, and then
Hey,
we'll
fun
sign.
fact: did you guys know Cobra Kai? There's a kid with a PlayStation Vita in the new season.
There's Vitas on the subway.
Is there
in Persona
really?
5.
Which kid?
I don't remember what. I'm not caught up on Cobra Kai, so that's why I can't say. But I did see somewhere in season 3 someone has a Vita, and it made me laugh.
Oh, really? Oh man, I need to know. I need to watch it now. I only seen the first season.
Hey, Dead Rising 2. The little girl has a Vita.
Dead Rising 2? That
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
I
You
know,
mean there's like a
PSP.
Dead Rising movie?
No, Dead Rising 2, the game. The little girl on the PlayStation release either has a PSP or a PS Vita. I can't remember which.
Oh, I know. I gotta fact check you on this now.
Go ahead. I'm telling you, it's true. I don't know why that has. I don't know why that has anything to do with this, but
Very, very weird.
Little girl.
I couldn't find anything.
Console.
It would have to be Chuck's daughter, right?
Yeah, it's Katie Green. If you, when she's sitting
It's
in the
probably a
lobby,
PS Vita.
So she's sitting in the lobby.
No, Dead Rising 2 was before the Vita was out, though.
It must be
Yeah,
the
it's probably
PSP.
a PSP.
It's probably the PSP. I remember seeing it and thinking, wow, because she's got a little game console in her hand in the lobby. How did we get on this side? I'm sorry. Sorry, guys.
It's the podcast topic that never ends.
Yes. Anyways, she's holding a game console. I think it's the PSP. I just can't remember.
I think it's the FM7. I think she's a retro gamer.
She's holding the console in her hands, the FM7, the giant
the whole
thing.
thing.
She got a
Nice.
I'm
Neo
watching
Geo
a stream
Pocket.
right now, which they put Mega Man on PSP, which I'm sure is because the girl's playing the game on the PSP.
Yeah.
That would make sense. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
I'll send you guys the links. I mean, one of you guys can watch a 20-minute stream.
I'm not going to. I'll just play the game again. It's one of my favorite games ever, so why not?
Oh,
All right.
really? Nice.
I'm a
do
huge
have
Dead
it
Rising fan.
out of the collector's edition on my PS3
In fact,
with a metal case.
I have thought about doing Dead Rising coverage for a while, but there's nobody watching Dead Rising stuff. So
Unless you want to make a video talking about how bad the development of 3 and 4 were. Those are pretty much
I
only
don't mind 3 and 4. I'm like, at least it was something. At least we got something. You know, after 2,
True.
I thought we were never getting another game because they did that off the record game, and it's like, oh, never mind. That was a bad plan. What are you guys doing, Capcom? Anyways, as always, I am Chris. Atlus 35 coming up soon.